What's up, everyone? I'm Carmelo Anthony. And while you may know me as a basketball player, there's a whole lot more I'm ready to talk about. That's why I started What's in Your Glass, a show where we'll sit down for a glass of wine and a conversation with the biggest names in sports, music, media, and entertainment. Listen and follow What's in Your Glass, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Creative 7 with me, Carmelo Anthony, now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey.
This hour of Mud at Night brought to you by Eagle Bank.
This is Mud at Night on WEEI.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The pitch to Duran. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Ball game over. And that one hurts more than any game the Red Sox have played all year. They led it 7-2. They lose it 9-8. The Blue Jays are back within 3. The Red Sox fall 4 back in the AL East.
It's been pretty terrible. But the good thing is tonight, the offense, showed up and guys were raking balls all over the place. So that's a positive. We're just looking forward to the off day tomorrow and just kind of getting off the road and starting fresh when we come back Tuesday.
The Muttman.
I've always had the confidence in Doughboy to be what he is, and he's still not scratching the surface. He's believing in it, and you guys are seeing it, and it's good for his confidence.
Now, Mud at Night on WEEI.
The emergence of N'Keal Harry, a storyline at Patriots camp. It's Mud at Night, no Red Sox. We got a full show between now and 10 o'clock, and so much to do. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you make it through on a Monday night with us. We will talk a bunch of different topics here as you expect over the course of the next about 4 hours or so. We'll get into the Patriots. We'll get into the Celtics and their offseason so far. We'll do so with our friend Megan Onalini. She joins us here in studio at 7 o'clock. Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald in the 8 o'clock hour on Patriots Practice Report today. And you guys can join us whenever you want at 617-779-7937. You can jump in on Twitter at MuttWEEI and Mud at Night WEEI. Ben Charleston is off. Justin is here. I've never worked with Justin. Are you ready to go here tonight? Justin, can you handle a 4-hour show, then 2 hours of late night after that tonight?
I'm ready to roll.
We're going to find out. Does he sound confident, folks? I'm not sure. So when you call in, it's Justin you're talking to. Say hello as you join us here on the program. And it's funny, we'll get into the Patriots and Celtics next couple hours. But obviously, we're going to start with the Red Sox. We had this epic sort of end of the week with this team losing, getting their asses kicked on Thursday, and people on the broadcast texting me about how bad things are going for this team right now. And you thought, okay, that the Blue Jays will provide kind of a barometer, right? Are they going to bounce back? Can they find a way to dig themselves out of it? Can they find a way to get a split, win 3 out of 4, get into the off day today, and sort of get back on track? And I guess I get what Lou was trying to say today, where after he got through being very upset and very angry, and by the way, rightfully so, about this team and their current status, trying to take yesterday as a positive. So you lose the 3 out of 4. You lose in spectacular fashion in a couple of these games, including yesterday, a 7-2 lead, a freaking 7-2 lead, where I'm sure a lot of people, myself included, sort of moved on with your life and thought, okay, they'll get this win, they'll get the split, they'll get the reset, and you go, oh my God, they lost again. And Lou's trying to spin it positively that, hey, the offense came alive. They scored a bunch of runs earlier. Big bats like Bogarts and Devers and J.D. Martinez off the Kovalis. Here are the guys that you have to count on. And trying to spin it as a positive. And I give him credit for trying to do that. Because in times when things are tough and things are going bad, it's nice to have a positive voice out there. Of course, after he ripped the team over and over again. I cannot be that positive. I cannot view really anything over the weekend as a real positive jumping off point for this Red Sox team. In fact, they feel like there are more negatives now with Alex Cora having to deal with a team that is not up to that vaccination level where they can deal with some of the the better setups other teams have in baseball. I know Pete Abraham wrote about that today in Boston Globe. They had a couple coaches stay north in Canada because they tested positive. And so even that thing lingers. But as a baseball team, You just started here with Garrett Richards, and Richards tried to take the Merloni route, trying to be positive after this game, where he's all about turning the page and getting a reset. They have said this way too often during this, not just 2-8 stretch of the last 10 games, really last couple of weeks. Oh, you know what? We got to the All-Star break, time for a reset. Well, at the trading deadline's here, time for a reset. Turn the page to August, time for a reset. Now we get another reset for this team with the off day yesterday. They are feeling the pressure of the momentum of a collapse looming with this team. And it's starting to wear on them. It's wearing on their manager. It's wearing on the fan base. Because everyone can see it coming, and there's really not much you can do. Yeah, you can pitch more Tanner Houck. You can pitch more Chris Sale. But they just keep finding ways to lose, not scoring runs. Yesterday, scoring 1 million runs and not able to get it done. And watching again their bullpen struggle against a very good, frisky Toronto team that on paper coming into the season was better than the Red Sox. They scuffled, but you're seeing it now, what people liked about that team. And oh, by the way, they added an ace in Jose Barrios at the trade deadline as your team did nothing. And we said this on Thursday's show, right? It should be legitimate if you're a Red Sox fan wondering, where this team is right now and wondering if there's a potential collapse. Absolutely. This is not like they're going to turn it around. They'll find it. Shaughnessy wrote about it today in the Globe that this is not a collapse yet. It's just the Red Sox sort of, after overachieving early in the year, finding their level. I don't buy that. This is a collapse right in front of us. It might not be 2011 collapse or like vintage Red Sox collapse, but they had the thing in their hand. I heard Lou mention some sort of percentage, some sort of playoff percentage number. The one that I like is the Baseball Reference one. That basically had them, right around the All-Star break, a 96% chance. 96% chance that they make the postseason. When you go to the Red Sox Baseball Reference page, 2021, it's got their record, and then right there, playoff odds. And a couple weeks ago, I made note on the pregame show. Red Sox still had a 96% chance, according to Baseball Reference, to be a playoff team. As of August 9th, 6:07 Eastern Time, Baseball Reference has them as a 56.4% chance to make the postseason, according to their metrics, their analytics, their numbers that test the playoff odds. So they went from 96% around the All-Star break to 56%. That sums up the Red Sox right now. And in fact, you can go to, when you dig into the playoff odds, you can go and look. In the last 7 days, this is wild. In the last 7 days, they have seen their playoff percentage chance on Baseball Reference drop 25 points. In the last 30 days, they have had a 38% drop in percentage to go to the postseason. I'm not making up those numbers. They were 96%. They're now 56%. They have dropped 40 points because the offense has slowed down, the pitching has not been good, and they're just not sure of themselves right now. All that confidence from the Red Sox Twitter account that was mocking you as fans for those tweets you had in the first week, to Martin Perez, the guy who said, we're bleeping good, now he can't get out of the second inning when he goes out there and pitches. You watch some of the body language out there on the field by some of the team's really good offensive players, and they look like they're lost right now, specifically J.D. Martinez, who is still trying to find himself. I know he had a kind of a little bit of a blip yesterday, but was atrocious in that game on Thursday, then got popped with the COVID, now rear back, and now we'll see what you get from him in the next 2 months. Like, all these signs that pointed to a confident Red Sox team trying to prove the doubters wrong, the haters wrong, it's completely gone. And now it's, time for a reset. All-Star game reset. August 1st reset. Off-day reset. That's what they're hanging their hats on now because they don't know what else to say. They are so rattled. They are rattled by their poor play, and they are still, folks, make no mistake about it, they are rattled by the trade deadline. This team has no idea how to react now that their guy, Chaim Bloom, did nothing to help them. Absolutely nothing. Because until Kyle Schwarber plays, I'm not counting him as an addition. If you missed it over the weekend, he is now potentially more hurt than he was when you acquired him. He had a hamstring injury. Now it's a groin. And we told you, we gave you this a week ago. Buster Olney talked to an evaluator who told him mid-August was like the earliest he'd come back, but that late August was a real possibility. So you may only end up getting 4 or 5 weeks of Kyle Schwarber. At that point, you might be out of it for the division. Like, I really think now 4 games back in the division, 5 games back in the loss column, I think the division is done. I think there is no way they win the AL East. I think the Rays did enough in acquiring Nelson Cruz. They have enough starting pitching. And by the way, they've been in these battles the last couple of years. They've been to the end of the playoffs. Like, they have guys who've been there. They have a manager who's been there. That's a good team. They were good, and now they're feeling good about themselves. And you get them this week. And they're feeling great about the way they played against you. I think after this weekend, the division is done. I think your only way to get in now is through the wild card. And even that's not a lock because the Blue Jays and the Blue Jays, the A's, everyone is right there. Everybody is right there trying to fight you for a playoff spot. You left the door open by doing nothing at the trading deadline. Instead of slamming it shut, adding to this team, making them better, you rested on your laurels. You committed to a team and committed to a group that was expecting you to go do something else. And he didn't do that. And you committed to a bigger picture, which is the long-term view of the team, instead of strike while the iron's hot. We're better than people expected us to be. And we're going to go off script. Our script says we're not going to make big additions, not going to go over the luxury tax number. Well, the team was better than you expected it to be. And you still stuck to that stupid script. And look at how it's paying you back. 2-8 in your last 10. And according to Baseball Reference, you've lost 40 points. 40 percentage points from 96 to 56% chance to make the postseason. That's on the team, and that's on the management of this team. They royally botched what was a very sort of it was a good story, the Boston Red Sox this year. They had won some fans back. They had sort of started to win the Mookie Betts trade in the eyes of some people, right? The Betts had to go. At least you got Verdugo. And you played this great brand of baseball, and you took a bleep you, take no prisoners attitude. And now you can't get out of your own way. People are wondering again, does the ownership really want to win? Does the team president want to win? What's the commitment? Is it a long-term health financially organization, or is it about winning? Those questions now brought up. The likability of this team now being brought up. Alex Cora, the manager, in the crosshairs again. We'll get to Cora here in a minute. Like, all these things that were nowhere near the radar in the first half of the year are now the talking points for your team. And so as far as the weekend goes, and I heard OMF talking about this today, like, they asked the question, are the Red Sox done? They're still in the playoff mix, but in my opinion, their chance of winning the AL East is out the window. They are not going to win the division. That's going to Tampa Bay. That's going to Toronto. That's going to one of those two teams. If you get in, I think it's only going to be via the wild card. And you're going to need some help. But I'm curious if you feel that way after what you saw this weekend, or if you want to try to find a positive, the way Lou did with this offense. I can't do it. But I'm curious what you think. It's 617-779-7937. You can jump in as well on Twitter at MuttWEEI and Mutt at Night WEEI. Because what's going to happen here, by basically maybe as soon as Thursday, because you'll play an afternoon game here against the Rays. You get the Rays tonight and tomorrow at Fenway, then Thursday afternoon at 4. You got a Patriots game Thursday night. If you somehow get swept by the Rays here, or lose, you maybe lose 2 out of 3, and that Thursday night game has some Cam Newton, Mac Jones intrigue, the Red Sox buzz is gone. On August, 12th, Thursday night, August 12th, all that Red Sox buzz, all the good feeling about the ballpark, and Tyler Devitt being over like a nightclub, right, Tyler? It's a nightclub at Fenway these days. I can't hear you. Either your mic's not on or I can't hear you. It's okay. That's gone because the young kids aren't going to go anymore. It's not going to be cool to go to Fenway Park when the team is circling the drain. It's not going to be fun to go to Fenway Park when the team is out of the wild card mix and all these good vibes about you winning are dead. It's not cool anymore. And they're already feeling it. Like we mentioned last week, They sent out this, in the midst of their bad weekend against the Rays last Monday, they sent out this marketing email saying, hey, we're going to waive all fees on tickets for August, September. Yeah, because they realized, like, oh, my God, we're in first place. They were in first place, and we're not selling these games out right now. You're still fighting that, people didn't think the team was going to be good, and now they're like, well, what's the impetus to really get excited to go over there? They're 2-8 in their last 10, and so from an organizational standpoint, you may have stuck to your guns long-term about this team by not making a trade at the deadline. You also screwed them in the short term and sort of the buzz for this team. And so then you turn the attention to a guy that I don't think has gotten enough conversation. That's Alex Cora. Like, Alex Cora has to be part of the solution here. You can't, if you're Rob Bradford at WEEI.com, write about how Cora has been so important to this team 1 week, and then as they're 2-8, don't point out that he's got to be better. He's got to be the guy sort of pushing this narrative, getting this team out of this rut. That's what good managers do. They find a way. Even yesterday, right? He's got Renfroe batting second. He's trying to find a way. Well, that's fine, but you still lost. You still were leading 7-2 and you lost the game. You've got to close that thing out. And for all the accolades Cora's gotten this year about getting this team on the same page and ignoring the noise and playing above whatever their expectation was for locally, nationally, whatever for the Red Sox. Well, that's when it was easy. The team was playing well. You're buzzing along, and it wasn't much to do. Your bullpen's pretty good. The offense is kicking ass. Okay, you show up, you get out of the way, and you win a bunch of games. Well, now get to work. Now, if you're Alex Cora, all those good words written about you and spoken about you in the first 3.5, 4 months of the year, it's time for the payoff. It's time for him to help rally this team, and specifically their confidence. Their confidence right now is in the crapper. On the field, playing, off the field about the deadline. That's his responsibility, Cora's, to rally the troops around him now. And whether that is, again, flipping the spread table, calling guys out publicly, going back to whatever you felt like worked in the first half of the year. Some of this is on the players for sure. Some is on ownership and Chaim Bloom for not making a move. You got to put some on Cora because in the early portion of this team starting to lose games, he did the shoulder shrug and was like, you know what? We're still good. Even yesterday, right? We're still in a good spot. We're still in a good spot. I would not be trying to accentuate the positive right now from Alex Cora. My team keeps finding ways to lose. We're not playing great baseball. You can go through the Vasquez stuff from yesterday. Defensively come miscues over the weekend. Obviously, starting pitching has been up or down. Some of their biggest name offensive players have not produced. There's a million ways you can go in calling out the team. You don't even have to do it publicly, at least on Thursday. Like you kind of did. They get their asses kicked by the Tigers, and at least you get a little bit like, this is not good. I expected more of that yesterday. No. We're still in a good spot. Not really. For the division, you're in an awful spot. For the wild card, yeah, you're in the mix, but your chance to make the playoffs have dropped like exponentially. And I just want more out of Cora. I expect more. Don't you guys expect more out of Alex Cora? And expect him to be willing to, be more critical about his team? That's what I want. I get that he's a player's manager, but at some point, that's not working anymore. At some point, guys have to be held accountable. Maybe that means that Kevin Pilecki is playing over Christian Vasquez because not only is Vasquez not hitting, but he's not been great defensively or calling games, and now he's a base running issue. So going away from Vasquez, one of your staples here, and going to him, changing that lineup around on a consistent basis till you find something. Looking at that leadoff spot. Going more to Tanner Houck and with Garrett Whitlock and sticking with those guys instead of, again, the plan, the script. Sometimes you got to go off that to try to rally the troops or get them back to their winning ways. And instead, it feels like they're literally waiting for Chris Sale to pitch on Saturday. It feels like that's what Chaim Bloom was expecting at the trade deadline. Hey, we'll get Chris Sale back. And that's what the team is doing now. And to me, it's just really frustrating. And I as I said on Thursday, nothing has changed from our show Thursday night in my mind. You should have legitimate concerns about this team, not only with the division, But as far as a playoff spot goes, and what a waste this would be. All the goodwill you built up to get back on the radar of Boston sports fans. They got the Patriots season looming. Celtics have two of the best 20-25 players in the league in Tatum and Brown. Bruins are consistently, one of the highest consistently rated TV teams in the market. They're might not be as high as the Red Sox ratings at their peak, but they're consistent. Like every night, X amount of fans tune in. And your team get 3-4 months of this. And they don't make the playoffs, that crap goes out the window. So I want to start there with your if you believe it's a real issue for the Red Sox, or they can dig their way out of it, and how they do that. I have some ideas certainly, but it's more than just Chris Sale. You guys are all lined up at 617-779-7937. You can't get in on phones. Jump in on Twitter at MuttWEEI and Mutt at Night WEEI. Your Red Sox calls coming up. Megan Onalini in studio at 7 o'clock. We got 4 hours. A lot to do. Justin on the board and taking your phone calls. It's Mutt at Night WEEI.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey.
What's up, everyone? I'm Carmelo Anthony. And while you may know me as a basketball player, there's a whole lot more I'm ready to talk about. That's why I started What's in Your Glass, a show where we'll sit down for a glass of wine and a conversation with the biggest names in sports, music, media, and entertainment. Listen and follow What's in Your Glass, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Creative 7 with me, Carmelo Anthony, now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. August is a great month to help out the environment by improving your gas mileage. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, and heavy items like golf clubs aren't stored in your trunk. Take your car in for a tune-up to ensure it's running at peak performance. And when the weather is nice, walk or bike to your destination to enjoy a beautiful summer day. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
For summer barbecues, road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
Hundreds of new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts. It's all on Odyssey.
Brought to you by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar.
This is Mutt at Night on WEEI.
You've got, I think, 48 games left. What do you think needs to happen to get you guys in the postseason?
I think, we're not in a great, we're still in a good spot, right? Let's be honest. It was a tough road trip, but they'll go home and dominate at home. Let's do that. I think, like I said, looking forward to going home, reset tomorrow. We know what, certain guys that we're going to add this week to this roster. They're going to help us out. I think offensively today, finally, we did some great things. Hopefully, the off day doesn't affect us, and be ready for the race on Tuesday.
All right, that was Alex Cora yesterday. We'll get to your phone calls here in a second. Mutt at Night WEEI. And he's doing the same thing that his players are doing. Garrett Richards did it yesterday about the reset and getting home. Maybe it's what Cora told the guys there in the clubhouse afterwards. But he almost started to we're not in a good spot. Like, if we play the beginning of that cut again, if we can get rid of Ian Brown's question, love Ian Brown. But if we can get just the beginning of his answer, I'm hearing it again for the first time. Was he starting to say we're not in a good spot? Go ahead, Justin.
I think, we're not in a great, we're still in a good spot, right?
Stop. He did. Oh, I didn't even get that the first time. So even he's acknowledging it. Oh, that's a little humility there from Cora. Well, we're in a good spot. He caught himself because he's tried to stay positive. He's tried to be the guy that's keeping things going forward. Now, we're not in a great, we're in a good spot still. No, you're not. You're 2-8 in your last 10. The team's showing a lack of confidence. Your ownership did nothing to make the team better. Just say it. I would give Cora more credit If he said, look, we're not playing well, we're not in a good spot, the playoffs seemed like they were a lock a month ago, and now we got to fight for our lives. And I'm sure he's thinking that, but he's just not that type of manager. And so whether he's telling the team that or not, I don't know. But a little bit of honesty there. Play the beginning of that again. Just the beginning of the answer. This is Ian Brown asking Alex Cora about a playoff spot for this Red Sox team.
I think, we're not in a great, we're still in a good spot, right?
We're not in a great, we're still in a good spot. No, you're not. And even the manager wants to admit it. Oh, I like that. So let's see if Cora takes that attitude this week and see if they come out with any sort of fire against the Rays and show any sort of life. They're just going to, lay down, lose 2 out of 3, and let the Patriots take over the fall starting on Thursday night. As promised, your phone call, 617-779-7937, the phone number. You can tweet us as well, Mutt, W-E-E-I, and Mutt at Night, W-E-E-I. Wally in Fall River, very patient to start the show. He is on this program. What's up, Wally?
What's up, Mutt? You can't sugarcoat any of this, Mutt. We were in first place. We had the best record in the American League. 99 9/10% of New England expected Hein Bloom to do some at the deadline. Everybody was disappointed. Bogarts, everybody but the kitchen sink said that. But it is what it is. We're stuck with these guys now. Cora's going to blow a fuse or something to light a fire under these guys. We can't get 6 innings out of our starter. We're blowing out our bullpen every night. But yesterday's game really hurt, Mutt.
Yep.
We beat a good pitcher. We had a good pitcher beaten. We got 16 hits. You can't find anything good on any of this. Sale ain't the Messiah. We all love Chris Sale, but he can't pitch a hit for us every day. But same with Schwarber. We traded for a ruptured duck. This guy's hurt now. A groin, hamstring. We will be lucky if we see him in September. But we got sharks circling the water right now. It's going to be tough. You can't, with Tampa Bay coming in, you have to sweep them. Had we won yesterday, we'd have been 2 games out. But you just can't. Cora has to do something. Either blow a fuse, start screaming or something. But these guys got to wake up.
Yeah, and the team themselves, they're in a funk. They're lacking confidence. They're in a funk, and it's up to Alex Cora to get them out of it. If he believes the best way to do that is to stand by his approach about not rip the players publicly and let's be a player first guy, then he's got to go down with that ship. But it's not working right now. As far as Kyle Schwarber goes, it's going to be very difficult to get him back and expect really anything out of this guy. So he had a hamstring injury to start when you acquired him. You knew that. Now he has a groin issue, and then we're expecting them to at least platoon him at first base. So he's going to go from standing up the entire game in the outfield or not doing it at all if he's the DH, which you really can't with J.D. Martinez here, to going and bending over and trying to learn a position first base. That seems very difficult. So when you add in the groin injury to that, I feel like when you do see Schwarber, he's going to be limited, and he's not going to play first. That means Bobby Dahlbeck and Franchi Cordero continue to play first base, which is a complete hole for you right now that you didn't go and fix at the deadline. That's on Bloom. Tom is in Hull. What's going on, Tom?
Yeah. This is Tom from Hull. I'm going to keep the light off.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is the Sox are in the hunt. It's August. They're making it very interesting. Start of the year, we're all writing them off, and we got Sale coming back. And Sale is a great clubhouse guy, and that's what we need right now. We need a leader, and he's a leader. Everybody respects him. And if he goes out there against Baltimore, which I think he will, and throws nice and gets us a nice W, we're going to be fine. We are going to be fine. Everybody's panicking. We got 2 months in the season left. Everybody's panicking. Let's just see what happens with Tampa Bay. 2 out of 3. Well, okay, if we sweep, that'd be great. If we get swept, we got a problem. That's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, Mike, you got to stop. You throw these guys under the bus.
They deserve, Tom. They deserve it. They're playing like crap. Their front office did nothing. They deserve to be thrown under a bus right now.
You can't be calling people out. You're saying the manager calling people out.
Why? Tom, Bill Belichick, when someone doesn't play well, they don't sugarcoat it.
Who's he going to call out? Who's going to call?
Everybody. J.D. Martinez, his bullpen, his starters who don't go deep into games. Like, there are plenty of people that aren't performing up to their expectations that deserve criticism, Tom. You don't think so?
Oh, no. Hey, you never call anybody out by name, if you want to say, hey, we got to, our starting pitching has to step up, our bullpen's going to get started, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. You call somebody up by name, then you lose the team.
Nah, you're a professional, Tom. You get paid a lot of money. You don't perform. You're allowed to bring it up as the manager. Now, Cora doesn't want to do that. If he thinks that's going to work, then stick with that. But there's some evidence that the current trajectory for the team could use a shakeup. So, to me, I'd be okay if Cora started calling these guys out and talking about how bad first base has been, how much better first base has got to be. You know, they're starting pitching, not getting deep into games. And Tom's right about Chris Sale. Chris Sale should help this team, right? Because it's just him pitching means Garrett Richards or Martin Perez is not. So, by default, addition by subtraction, no Richards, no Perez, that's a good thing. But is he going to be out there going 110 pitches his first start and then going 8 shutout innings to try to save the bullpen that day? You're not getting that Chris Sale. You are getting kind of, it's going to be pitch count Chris Sale, who is still better than Perez and Richards. But the impact you think you're getting is not the actual Chris Sale. There's no way they're going to let him go out there and go deep in a game starting on Saturday. It's going to be a gradual buildup at best for him. And this is why it goes back to them. They've got to rely more on Houck and Whitlock. And I think the Whitlock one in particular is, again, they had a plan coming into the year. We like Garrett Whitlock. He's a Rule 5 guy. We got to keep him on our roster all year. We're going to get him back to the Yankees. He's good. We're not going to do that. So we also know he's coming off the Tommy John. We got to be careful with him. It's been 4 months now. I think you can try to utilize him differently and go off the script you had. You're now fighting for your playoff lives. It's okay to adjust. It's okay to say, yeah, we're going to rely on Tanner Houck the last 2 months. He was good last year when he pitched. He's been good this year. Again, take the training wheels off. He's proven himself. John is in Braintree. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
John, I got you. What's going on, man?
I just got to say, I have to agree with you 1,000% on your assessment on the Red Sox. I don't understand how the last caller can say you can't call these guys out. If you don't call these players out, then you have to be called out, especially when you keep telling everybody there's nothing wrong with this team, everything's okay, it's not that bad. I don't get it. The thing that I don't understand, it's so hard to win. And when you're in a situation where you really have a good chance halfway through the season, even if management did not feel that this team had a chance, how do you not do this? How do you not get the players? You've got so many fans coming back that are just like, they can't believe that the Red Sox were doing that good. And I really believe in my heart, it's like the management just forgot about this team and just didn't think they were going to get this far. And then when they did, they were scrambling and they just couldn't get nothing to help them.
They stuck to their original plan, John, right? They didn't. It's a good way of saying it. Like they didn't quite understand just where this team was. And so Chaim Bloom stuck to the plan of not overpaying for guys at the deadline via prospects and not going over the luxury tax number. And the result has been not only you can see it on the field with the first base position of Dahlbeck and Cordero, and now the bullpen, which you thought you got help in Hansel Robles, and he was one of the worst relievers in baseball this year. And they tried to take a flyer and thought he'd be better. He really hasn't been. He throws hard, but that's it. Cora was not going to trust him in a big spot yesterday. So this is what you're left with. You're left with guys who are expecting, and again, Xander Bogaerts said they were looking forward to reinforcement at the trade deadline 2 weeks ago. They didn't get those guys. So you have players that were expecting it. They're still wearing it. And this is where I will criticize the players more than Cora. Like, it shouldn't be Cora's responsibility. It falls on him now because this thing's lingering. But the players should be able to, at some point, turn the page. They've not been able to do that yet. And if there are still guys in that locker room that are still texting about this and talking about it, like, I can't believe we didn't do this or that, the other thing there at the deadline, then it does fall on Cora to try to reset them and get them back on track and tell them, hey, you can't worry about that now. You're not the GM. You're not the president of baseball operations. You're a player. Control what you can control. We all get annoyed with stuff that happens at our work. All of us. Sales, radio, baseball team. And at some point, you have to realize, I don't do that person's job. I can only come in here and do what I can do. sell 1 million widgets or, try to get on base tonight, do the best radio show that I can. That's all you can really do. But I feel like these guys as a team, collectively, they've worn that cross of the front office screwed us at the deadline. And at some point, they got to shake it off, but I do totally understand it because we've all felt that way, and I'd feel that way too. Mike is in Framingham. Go ahead, Mike.
How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I think what Bloom did was worse than if he didn't do anything. He brought in an outfielder and two of the worst relief pitchers in all of baseball. So let's move on from that.
Yep.
Nobody's talking about, in the last 2 weeks, in addition to Martinez, who's been terrible, Evaldi choked twice and Barnes choked twice. So despite everything else that went on, if those two guys didn't choke, the Red Sox might have finished, instead of 2-8, they might have been 4-6 on the road trip.
It's fair.
And that would have been a tremendous difference.
Yep, and the Barnes one's hurt because Barnes had been so good. He was an all-star. He looked like the breakout closer for them. They didn't go and acquire a closer at the deadline because they want to give him the job, and he has scuffled now, twice in a week. And part of that is, and Bradford wrote about this, right, that fastball velocity of his, that swing and miss fastball doesn't exist right now. He is still throwing an awesome curveball that guys are chasing even in the dirt, but he's not putting guys away anymore. To throw another fastball to Springer yesterday was one too many. Obviously one too many with a home run that probably still has not landed there in Toronto. So the caller's right. Two of your mainstays have really let you down. And of all those guys he mentioned, the guy to me that is most frustrating and most disappointing is J.D. Martinez. So we'll get to more J.D. Martinez later on this hour. Jimmy is next up on Mud at Night, WEEI. Go ahead, Jimmy. Jimmy.
How you doing?
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, no, I just got a couple things. The Red Sox, I'm sitting here eating a chicken Caesar salad because my wife says I got to lose a few pounds, and it just dawned on me. The Red Sox, they're all done, unfortunately, and I think the Jays and the A's are going to take the wild card spots there. And unfortunately, I think Einblum is. This is just my opinion. Obviously, not an opinion of EI, but I think he's on weed. I think he's gone wild,
He's
gone
what?
goofy. He's on the weed.
Well, I don't know if it is legal in this state now. So if he's imbibing a little bit, then he's allowed to do that. I don't think any drug use. Personally, me, Justin, I'll speak for myself, and I think for the station. I don't think any of us here believe drug use is an issue for Einblum at the trade deadline. Do I wish he did more? Sure. We all do. The drug use part, I don't think any of us stand by, Jimmy. But I will look into it. I mean, Bradford's on the beat. He can check this out. Let's go to Joe in Jersey. Joe, you're next up. A rant and Red Sox to start. What's going on?
Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Joe, I'm doing good. How are you?
All right. I'm listening to a lot the last couple of days, and I don't get your show down here too much, but I got a friends up in Massachusetts that everybody's complaining about what Einblum didn't do. I don't think Einblum dropped the ball. My opinion is they could have gotten anybody they wanted. Anybody. If they wanted Anthony Rizzo, they could have got Anthony Rizzo. If they wanted Max Scherzer, they could have got Max Scherzer. They would have had to get rid of Tanner Houck. They would have had to get rid of Tristan Cassis. We had Anthony Rizzo 11 years ago, and we got rid of him. And through trades and everything else, Mike Napoli helped us win a World Series.
Yeah, but Scherzer might have cost you some top prospect. You could have gotten Anthony Rizzo without giving up Tanner Houck or Tristan Cassis, Joe.
Well, here's the deal.
And fix first base, because first base stinks right now.
Right, you're right. I agree. But I love Dahlbeck. I think he's going to be a good player.
You do?
7, 8, 9. I think he's going to be a good player. Yeah, he strikes out a lot. I think he's got a lot of potential. So when we get rid of him, something's going to happen, and he's going to do good.
Yeah, but I mean, Joe, you have. Go ahead. Finish.
All right. If you think about it, April till now, 7, 8, and 9 have been automatic outs. They've been relying on 2 through 6 throughout the whole year. So if 2 through 6 don't hit, we don't win. We got a weak lineup. Signing Martin Perez this year was a mistake.
Well, I mean, but Joe, and thanks to your call, Joe. Bad speakerphone there. I'm losing you there at the end. But I get what you're saying about not wanting to deal. No one said deal Tristan Cassis the deadline. See, this is where Red Sox. There can be a middle ground here, folks. I get it. You're supposed to have a extreme take one way or the other. No, in this case, trade some of your middle prospects and just upgrade first base. I just saw today, and Alex Spear pointed this out, and I'm glad he brought this up. You know the National League Player of the Week was? C.J. Cron of the Rockies. He hit .556 for the week at an OPS of 1.278. I brought that guy up 2 months ago on these airwaves and said that's the guy the Red Sox should be looking at. Fitzy took it a step further and wanted like a Daniel Bard, C.J. Cron package deal, which is fine. But why was that guy not traded at the deadline? He's a free agent to be. Like, what? And Alex asked the question in his tweet. Raises the question, why was the free agent to be doing that for the Rockies instead of having been traded to a contender and needed more production at first base? That was C.J. Cron was that it cost you Tristan Cassis or some other high-level prospect, but it would have been an upgrade at that position 1,000,000 times over. And that's the middle ground I'm talking about here. I get it. People want to kill the ownership for not spending money, or they want to say good for Bloom for sticking on the path to getting this team back to a year in and year out competitive nature. How about somewhere in the middle? Make the team a little bit better this year, not go crazy with it, and you can do both. But he didn't do that. Instead, he got a guy who's hurt that might not play until September, and 2 relievers. So I don't know. Austin Davis is not one of the worst relievers. Robles was. In one of the metrics, in some extreme metric, and Barrett had this, out of 146 relievers in baseball, Robles was 145. So what did you expect? Tristan Cassis. I don't want Cassis. I want Cassis. I don't want Max Scherzer. Also wanted more help in the lineup. And by the way, the caller was just ripping the 7-8-9. Guess who bats 7-8-9? Bobby Dahlbeck and Franchi Cordero. Your first baseman. We are ranting Red Sox to start with you guys at 617-779-7937. The phone number. We'll put J.D. Martinez in the crosshairs coming up. We'll get to more of your phone calls, and we'll hear from Megan Ottolini. She joins us in the studio at 7 o'clock here on the Red Sox and on baseball's partnership with Barstool Sports that people are going insane about. That's at 7 o'clock and Monday at night, WEEI.
CuriosityStream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. There sure are a lot of streaming services, aren't there? CuriosityStream is the one you definitely need if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair astronaut, if you prefer physics to psychics, or perhaps you know a precocious paleontologist. Go to curiositystream.com to learn more and sign up today.
That's the sound of me prepping the grill with Reynolds Wrap. And the sound of me not doing dishes. And the sound of me spending more time outside with my family.
Easy prep, cook, and clean. Make time with Reynolds Wrap.
I like the sound of that.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
good night,
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell. And engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Summer-only savings await at your local Hyundai dealer. Where you go from there is up to you. Huge savings, new vehicles arriving daily, and of course, America's best warranty. Get in to get away with it all at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Secure your 2021 Sonata or Elantra today for 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days. See your Hyundai dealer now during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 6, 2021. Call 562-314-4603 for offer terms and details.
This is Mutt at Night on WEEI.
At this point in the season, JD, do you guys have to, despite the frustration of losing this game, do you have to just build off of the positives from the offense, what the offense did today going into an important series?
Yeah, nothing you could do about it. It was a tough loss. Matt's been lights out for us all year, and it's a tough break. You got to give your credit where credit's due. They got guys on, and Springer had a really good swing, and that was the game. But besides that, it sucks. It is what it is. Obviously, a game you don't want to lose, but it happens.
That's J.D. Martinez post-game yesterday. It's Monday night, starting with the Red Sox and their struggles. We'll get to some more baseball issues with Megan Ottolini, our friend Mego. of the Boston Herald coming up here at 7 o'clock. We'll dip into the Patriots as well. Camp report, Andrew Callahan of the Herald at 8:30. And J.D. Martinez is one of the guys that is responsible for why the Red Sox are where they are right now. He is the offensive force in the middle of this lineup. He makes everything go by getting on base, setting up pitching for Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, and he's just not been good this year, or at least up to what I expect out of J.D. Martinez. I guess 290 and 21 home runs is considered a pretty good 4 months or so. But as of late, his last 30 games, he's batting .259 with just 11 walks and 30 strikeouts, 5 home runs. Last 15 games, he's batting .200, slugging .317 during that time. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in, 2 walks, and 14 strikeouts. The J.D. Martinez you've come to expect to be a patient hitter, somebody who sets guys up, somebody who can be counted on, game in and game out to see a lot of pitches and to sort of be that force in the middle of the Red Sox lineup. That guy has not been there this year. And I get it. Xander Bogaerts missed some time, so that was an issue there as well. Rafael Devers has had, his ups and downs too. But it just, I keep going back to J.D. Martinez. And that at bat Thursday, in the early portion of that loss to the Tigers, where it was still a game, it's only 3-0, and you got 2 on and 1 out, and he sits there and takes strike 2 and strike 3 and just stands there in the batter's box and takes these pitches right down the middle from Tarek Skubal, who's one of the worst left-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball. And that sort of was a sign to me that something's going on with this guy. Now, obviously, he got the tested positive, then he's on the list, he's off the list, COVID, doesn't have COVID. So, maybe yesterday was one of those games where he wasn't up 100% yet. Maybe he'll come back off the off day. But, I think this offensive struggle for them, a lot of it has to do with J.D. Martinez and what he's not been able to do. That home run, was it in the win against Detroit? He had a home run. He drove in a run there. He had 3 RBIs yesterday. But he's gone a long stretch without home runs and RBIs. Now, that home run he had on August 4th was his first home run since July 21st. And, in fact, he has 3 home runs in basically a month. 3 home runs since July 10th for J.D. Martinez. And that's a guy you count on. The batting average was at one point somewhere at 307. It's now down to 285, 290. At slugging percentage, which was somewhere north of or close to 6, is at 533 today. The OPS, which was well above 900 for a long period of the year, is now under 900 at 888. That guy needs to be better. You want to talk about one offensive player who, if he was able to get it going, could help turn this offense around, I would point to J.D. Martinez. And so we'll see what he gives you coming back. Had the COVID scare again. Off day today. Let's see. You need more out of him. And I would put more pressure on, or more of the not pressure's not the word, but blame offensively. I'm willing to put a lot of it on J.D. Martinez because when they are good, J.D.'s pretty good. Matt, Rhode Island, on the Red Sox. What's up, Matty?
Hey, Matt. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, Matt. What do you got?
Geez, that was my train of thought. On Cora, I think he's doing a good job. Obviously, he's not speaking the same to the media as he is in the clubhouse. Hey, there's no way to put it. The last 10 games, they haven't played well. But put it in perspective, that the Blue Jays are the hottest team probably in the league right now. Not to make excuses for him and not to make excuses for JD.
Well, you just did. Okay, what about the Tigers? What about the Tigers last week?
Dude, the Tigers aren't as bad as people think. But anyway, they didn't play good there. They're not playing well. But listen, I don't want to go and get on a tangent about Chaim Bloom, but I will.
Okay.
The acquisition was terrible. You're talking about a guy, you're going to move into first base. He's never played first base.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 relievers, they stink. How do you think Alex Cora, when he's talking to the media and everyone's, he probably feels let down. The team probably feels let down, but you can't wallow in that they're not playing good baseball. This is all, I don't know if this is all making much sense. I just kind of lost my train of thought. It's just some points that I'm bringing up.
That's okay.
It's just I will put this on the Red Sox ownership. They're not a cheap ownership, but what they did right here seemed a little strange. It's a little sketchy in my opinion.
Well, it was not, Matt. It was not adjusting their view, and I appreciate the call. It was not adjusting for where they were. Everyone's got a plan, What's the Mike Tyson line? Everyone's got a plan to get punched in the mouth. Well, in this case, like, it wasn't you got punched in the mouth. You're actually in a better spot than you thought you were going to be. You were in first place. You were a lock for the playoffs, 96% according to Baseball Reference. And you sat there and said, we're going to get an injured guy who maybe can play first base and a couple of relievers that are going to cost us nothing. And by the way, we're going to trade Michael Chavis because we want a major league salary to trade for Austin Davis because financially we want to stay below that luxury tax number. So that's you want to bring ownership into it, that's fine. They deserve some of the blame here too. But I'm not going to sit here and say Toronto's good or Detroit's better. You're supposed to win those games. You were up 7-2 when you lost yesterday. You lost a bunch of games to the Tigers and Tariq Skubal, who had given up like 24 home runs to right-handers this year. So there's no defense to that. And by the way, you jump right back into the race. Thankfully, you have Baltimore, and the schedule gets a little bit easier after this series, but you're going to be facing a lot of good teams here in the next 2 months. You didn't play a lot of the AL East early. There were a lot of it was backloaded to play those teams late in the year, and now you got to get ready to play the teams you're competing with. So good luck. Jay in Providence, go ahead, bud.
Hey, what's up, Mutt? Usually I agree with what you got going on, but tonight, I don't know, man. I can't. You guys are all over the Sox, and it's a media flip-flop. Before the season, you guys told us we had nothing to look forward to. So now, we were on a 2-year plan or whatever. We needed to trust the process. So this team played above their head, and everyone's expectation is through the roof. You know what I mean? And then, in the middle of the summer or in the beginning of the summer, guys are telling us that we need to tune in. We need to support this team. We need to watch this team. Now they might end up being exactly what you thought they were, and everyone's ripping them. Now, I understand they're not playing well. I'm not giving them any pass, but you guys are really on here throwing them under the bus as if you thought
the standard before the season without, and I'm getting a bad feedback there, but thanks. So you adjust it, right? Like you adjust your expectations of a team. You don't hold them to the same. At least I don't. Maybe you guys do, but I'll explain. My thought process for like 15 seconds here. Once a team proves they're better than I thought, like, you change your expectation. And by the way, I told everybody and their mom to bet the over on win total for them at 79.5. It was too low. So I didn't think they'd be an AL East contender, but I thought they'd play for a wild card. And they were well beyond that. And to say, they overachieved for 4 months, let's celebrate. Yay, let's have a party. Nope. That's not how I look at it. They probably wanted to look at it that way because they probably don't want the negative talk about their team. And as a fan, I get wanting to look at it that way. But for me, I have to adjust based on what I saw. What I saw for 4 months was a team that was good. And one flaw they could fix at the trading deadline would have been first base. Bloom didn't do it. He deserves crap for it. We'll get more of your thoughts on these Red Sox at 617-779-7937, the phone number. Megan Ottolini is here. She will join us in studio on all things baseball. Baseball's partnership with Barstool Sports and the Patriots, who practice again today. Well, there are some injuries to get to. Mego in studio with your calls next. Hour 2, Mud at Night, WEEI.
On Pod Save the World, we want to be your cheat sheet for global events. My name is Tommy Vitor, and each week, my co-host Ben Rhodes and I break down the biggest stories from around the world. Ben and I both worked on President Obama's national security staff, and we'll introduce you to the activists, politicians, and journalists who can help us understand what's going on around the world, what it means for the United States, and what it's like being inside the White House Situation Room during a crisis.
Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your pods.
The COVID-19 pandemic showed us how a microscopic virus could upend our lives. There is so much out there that we need to understand. But for every threat, there are heroes working at the edges of science and policy to protect us. I'm Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, former Detroit Health Director and host of Crooked Media's America Dissected. Every episode, I talk to the doctors, scientists, culture makers, and policy leaders who are working out new ways to protect us against our biggest threats. New episodes of America Dissected every Tuesday. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. August is a great month to help out the environment by improving your gas mileage. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, and heavy items like golf clubs aren't stored in your trunk. Take your car in for a tune-up to ensure it's running at peak performance. And when the weather is nice, walk or bike to your destination to enjoy a beautiful summer day. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?